Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Matters of the Heart and Soul podcast. My name is Janie, one of your hosts, and welcome to a new podcast episode. Today, I am talking about the electromagnetic field of the heart. And I want to break down some science into what it means for us, for health, for wellness, for self-mastery, to become the best and highest versions of ourselves, okay? Now, I do have to talk a little bit about some background information so that everything will make sense, okay? And that you have a little bit of root information. Now, it's very simple what I'm giving you. This is a lot of research, a lot of science is out for a long time. So I'm just giving you the basic, simple explanation of this. You could take it upon yourself and do your own research and your own understanding if after this podcast you don't quite understand it, or if you just want to dive a little bit deeper. All right. So I said we're going to be talking about the heart's electromagnetic field. All right. Now, every single cell in the human body, including the organs, so the brain, the heart, the gut, the liver, the kidney, all have an electromagnetic charge, all right? And it is very much possible to measure the human-generated electromagnetic field, or what we call the EMF, with great accuracy. We use what we call a special machine called a superconducting quantum interference device, known as the SQUID, to measure the electromagnetic field, all right? Now, what is the electromagnetic field? Let's talk about what is the electromagnetic field of the human body. If we're going to talk about what's inside the body, such as the heart, let's talk about what is it in regards to the human body, okay? The human electromagnetic field, also known as the biofield, is a complex, dynamic energy field that surrounds and permeates the human body. So it's around the human body, but it also permeates, means it goes through the human body as well. It is generated by the electrical activity of cells, of organs, and of the biological systems, other biological systems. It is crucial, all right, in various physiological processes. The human electromagnetic field, so all this energy that's around us and going through us, it is comprised of an electrical field, which is comprised of the electrical activity of neurons, muscles, and tissues. It is comprised of the magnetic field, which is the electrical activity of the organs like the heart, the brain, the gut, the kidney, the liver. And when these two fields, the electrical and the magnetic field, interact and intertwine, we call it the electromagnetic field. So when all of the electrical activity from the cells, the tissues, and the muscles conjoin and interact with the electrical activities of the heart, the brain, the gut, things like that, when they combine, we call that combination the electromagnetic field, okay? Now, let's go a layer deeper with that. The human electromagnetic field is composed of various frequency bands, including alpha, beta, theta, and delta waves, okay? These waves are in motion, all right? Its energy bands is electrical activity, and it has a lot to do with our brain activity, relaxation state, sleep state, things like that, all right? It is also composed of the Schumann resonance, all right? The Schumann resonance is a frequency range linked to the Earth's magnetic field, and it actually influences the human electromagnetic field. Now, the Schumann resonance of the Earth is 7.83 hertz. That's just what it is. That's what it is, okay? Science, tons of research out there. 7.83 hertz is the Schumann resonance of the Earth, okay? Also, all right, the human electromagnetic field is also influenced by the heart rate variability. This reflects the rhythmic activity of the heart and it's influenced by the autonomic nervous system. I did a podcast before about fight or flight, and I talked about the autonomic nervous system. The autonomic nervous system is basically all of those physiological processes that occur that we don't have to think about. So our heart rate happens without us thinking about it. The blood pressure happens without us thinking about it. Digestion, all these things, all these biological processes is happening without us thinking about it, okay? But what's important to understand is that our human electrical magnetic field, our EMF, the energy that surrounds the body and that goes through or permeates the body, is influenced not only by what's inside, like I said, the heart, the rate, the cells, the tissues, and the muscles, is influenced by things outside of the body, like the Schumann resonance. It is actually the magnetic field of the earth influences our electromagnetic field, all right? Heart rate variability. So there's this autonomic nervous system that does everything without us even consciously thinking about it, all right? And these alpha, beta, theta, delta waves that's occurring around the human biofield that we don't even think about, all right? But we are influenced by all of this electrical activity. This lets us know that our bodies are electrical. We're chemical because we have hormones, neurotransmitters that the brain submits as well, but we're very electrical. We are electrical beings, okay? Now, that's so important that I really wanted to talk about it on a human basic level before I zone in on the heart. Now I'm zoning in on the heart because the heart has the strongest electromagnetic field compared to the brain. All organs have its own electro charge, its own electromagnetic field, but the heart has the strongest, all right? And I want to talk about it because it has so much to do with our health, our wellness, all right, and just how well we function and how much balance and harmony. We have no idea how the synchronization of our heartbeats, it really speaks to all the other organs in our body, and it really dictates our health, okay? So the strongest magnetic field we generate as humans comes from the heart, all right? So the heart has a huge role in the functions of the biological system. The brain has a lot, all right, to do with consciousness. We talk about the magnetic electric field of our thoughts. We know that our thoughts go out and it attracts things, more thoughts like it. And the brain gets, it gets a lot of attention, but what doesn't get a lot of attention is the heart, because the heart is the strongest. And that's why when we feel something, that feeling, that emotion is stronger than any thought that we could put out there, okay? So I want to first of all, show you guys a picture of the heart electromagnetic field and how much stronger it is than the brain. It is 5,000 times more stronger than the brain, and our heart electromagnetic field extends out up to 6 feet, up to, depending on how strong your heart's electromagnetic field is, it could extend out to 6 feet, which means that we could feel the electromagnetic field of other humans, all right? And that's why when we are around people and we either get a good feeling about them or something that says, not so much, we are actually feeling the electromagnetic field of that person's heart. And if you have your own strong heart electromagnetic field, you are more intuitive because you could really feel the electromagnetic field of other people around you, okay? So, but I want to share my screen so that I could show you guys what it looks like when your electromagnetic field extends out. And I hope everybody could see that. I think you can. So as you could see, the electromagnetic field of the heart extends out up to 6 feet. It could be more, but science research tells anywhere between 3 to 6 feet, it could extend out, right? I think the research is ongoing. And not only that, it extends out in a 360-degree radius. So it goes all around the body. So from here, from your heart, it could extend in all directions around the body. And that is so important to understand that and to get this visual, okay? Because as we talk about the electromagnetic field, we're going to talk about what weakens your heart's electromagnetic field and what strengthens it, and how you could, in your daily life, be conscious of this so that you could have optimal health and wellness. Okay, so you're looking at the heart's electromagnetic field extending out. All right. So I wanted to share that. I'm going to stop sharing so that we could move on. So now let's talk about the heart. Let's talk about that for a little bit. First of all, the heart is the first organ to form. It forms 3 weeks in embryo, all right? And research is saying that it starts to beat at about 5 weeks. Now, research is not very clear on how the heart starts to beat. But in my research, and as I'm understanding a little bit more about electrical charges, I think in that development of the tissues and the muscles, something starts to pulsate. It starts to flutter. And then it starts an electrical charge. And if you think about the heart it pumps blood to every single organ in the body, all right? The heart can stay alive without the brain. You could be brain dead, but if your heart goes, you're out of here, all right? So we have to really understand how much the heart plays, not, and we don't take into consideration of how much our organs is and what it's doing for us, because we're not conscious of it, right? The heart has its own neural network as well. So it has its own memory cells. It sends messages to the brain as well, right? We know that the brain has a lot of neural network, and it does attach to the nervous system, but so does the heart. And what I want to say about that is sometimes we could not be in danger, right? We could walk into a room and there's no danger in that room. Like there's no lion or no bear that we could think about, and then the heart triggers something. Okay, this is fear. Sometimes you could walk in a room and you not see anything that puts you in fear, but you feel something in that room. You feel it. And that's because your heart's electromagnetic field is already out 6 feet in front of you in all directions, feeling the environment and sending signals back to the brain. Meanwhile, the brain is taking a little while to come on board with what signals in the heart's own neuroelectrical system is sending to the brain. So that's another reason why we should really understand how the heart plays a huge, huge role in our manifestations, in what we feel, and why the heart really leads. It really should lead, because sometimes there's no logical reason. If I walk into a room and there's nothing in that room that says fear, there's no lion, there's no tiger, there's no bear, there's nothing in that room that tells me to run. But if I walk into that room and I start to feel anxious, I start to have fearful sensations, that's because my heart's electromagnetic field is already scanning that room 6 feet out, all right, and telling me, get out of that room, get out of that room. Although nothing logically, consciously in the mind state is there that I could see. So this is why we have to pay attention to how we feel. All right. And I'm going to get into how the emotions play a huge part on your electromagnetic field. All right. And like I mentioned earlier, when you listen to how you feel, you develop a very strong intuition because you're paying attention to what that heart's electromagnetic field is scanning out 6 feet outside of you and sending back to you. Okay. So that's so important. Another thing I wanted to bring up is how the heart has its own memory, its own consciousness, right? A lot of times things we won't really remember anything unless it made us feel a certain type of way, right? So if I'm seeing a patient and that patient and the service was just average, that patient may not really have anything memorable about that service, right? That I provided for them. But if I made that patient feel welcome, made them feel comfortable, made them feel well taken care of, that service was memorable because of how I made them feel. Okay. So that's why our feeling, again, the heart's electromagnetic field is 5,000 times stronger than the heart, right? So it's how we feel about a situation. Sometimes we cannot, and this is so important because a lot of times people want proof, you want the science, you want the statistics. Sometimes we don't need all that. Sometimes it's how we feel. And that is our natural instinct, is how we feel. And we have lost that because we are listening to the science, we're listening to the numbers, we're told we should listen to the data. And that's not always what it is. Listen to yourself. All right. That's who you have to listen to. Don't even listen to me. Listen to yourself. Go on what feelings you're getting. All right. So that's so important. The heart has its own memory, its own consciousness, its own neural network. And not only that, its electromagnetic field extends 6 feet out and it's 5,000 times stronger than the brain. Okay. So that lets you really know where consciousness resides and who's really running the show. Although every organ in our body is important, the brain is important, but that heart is important. Okay. Is very, very important. So I want to talk about measuring the electromagnetic field, right? We get EKGs. You probably heard of an EKG, electrocardiogram. What the EKG does, and if you have ever had one, you know that this is the truth. You put leads on the surface of the skin and you put electrodes on those leads. This is letting us know that those leads are testing the electroconductivity, which is the electromagnetic energy, the electroactivity of the heart right off the skin. Nothing internal. There's no tubes to go in. You don't have to do surgery to do this. It's literally on the surface of the skin. That lets us know that, yes, we can test and we can measure the EMF or the electromagnetic field. And this is specifically of the heart, the EKG. When we wear our trackers, right? Our trackers can measure our heart rate, our blood pressure, things like that. Why? Because it's getting the electromagnetic field that's coming off the skin. Remember, the electromagnetic field permeates the body, meaning it goes through and it surrounds the body. All right. So the EKG is measuring the heart's electrical signals and rhythm off the surface of the skin. So how cool is that, right? Sometimes we're doing these things, like we're going out, we're getting these tests because we're trying to figure out what's wrong with us, but we're not even thinking about, well, why are we doing this? Why this test? And how does this test work in conjunction with my body? What does this test show that's happening in my body? So it's very, very, very important to think about that. All right. Now, why is any of this important? You're probably saying, Janie, why is this important? Why should I know about the electromagnetic field of my heart? Okay, great question. Because this has so much to do with your health and wellness, right? A strong electromagnetic field can increase your cognitive function, emotional balance, which is so important, right? Like I said, that heart field is extending out. And not only that, it's sending messages back up to the brain, allowing the brain to decide, okay, we need to release these neurotransmitters so they can run, right? Or everything's in peace, we need to rest and digest. Okay, so it's so important for the functioning and the optimization of all organs in your body. Not only that, the heart's rhythm, it synchronizes every other organ in the body. So it's almost like the heart is the musical director and directing all the other organs to play on one tune. All right, all is well in this environment. We're going to play on one tune. All right, this is our rhythm. This is our rhythm. We're going to play on one tune. The heart is doing that. Okay. Now, so like I said, increase emotional balance, increase immune system function, increase intuition, increase health and wellness, increase cognitive function, all of these things. What can a weak electromagnetic field lead to? All right. So if a weak heart electromagnetic field, it could increase to it could cause imbalances in your emotions, right? It could cause to disease and breakdown. It could cause to just incongruency of all your organs in your body. The liver over here doing what it wants to do, the kidney over here doing what it wants to do. Meanwhile, your thoughts are over here doing it wants to do with the brain, and nothing is working together in homeostasis and in synchronization. Okay. So now let's talk about what affects the heart's electromagnetic field. I gave you guys a clue earlier. The number one thing is emotions. All right. Research has proven this, science has proven this, that emotional states directly relate to the strength of the electromagnetic field of the heart and the brain, to both of it, all right? So positive emotions of love, of peace, of joy is going to strengthen your heart's electromagnetic field. Negative emotions of sadness, resentfulness, shame, doubt, guilt, all of that weakens your electromagnetic field. All right. It's all going to weaken it. Okay. If you're constantly having negative emotions, it's going to weaken you because one, you're in fear. Let's just use fear. One, you're in fear. So you can't even trust what you're feeling. Okay, because you're in fear. You can't even trust what you're feeling. Even though your heart's electromagnetic field is going out there 6 feet outside, scanning the environment, letting you know what's good and what's not, you can't trust it because of your thoughts of fear. So then what that does, it causes your heart to beat erratically and unrhythmically, right? Then what that does is it causes blood to leak out of the valves, to not get to certain places. It causes constriction in the arteries. So when you really think about this, it is huge. It is so huge to have positive emotions and to have balanced emotions and to constantly check your emotions and to master your emotions for the overall well-being. All right. And I say this all the time, love is the highest emotion you could feel. So when that heart is pumping and it's synchronized in love, guess what? It is sending signals to every other organ in your body. All is well. We are in love. We are doing good. We are fine. We are safe. We have security here. We are good. So, but if your heart is not pumping in that type of synchronization, things are gonna be very erratic and disease sets in. Okay. So that is so important to understand. So there's a lot of things I have said on ways that you could balance yourself and how to improve your emotional state. I'm not going to go back over that. You could probably find one of our podcasts that talks about that. The most important thing that I really wanted to hone in today was the electromagnetic field of the heart and how it's so important, and that you can strengthen this and you could stay in health and wellness. And that literally, oh, one other thing I meant to say, whoever has the strongest heart electromagnetic field can synchronize the people around them and bring them to that frequency. Now, that is amazing. And I thought that was so amazing. And you might think about sometimes, let's say you're in a room and somebody walks in and they light up the room, like they shift the entire energy in that room. That person has a strong heart electromagnetic field, and they have just shifted the frequency of everybody else's electromagnetic field and brought it up a notch or two or three. So that is so beautiful. And it happens without you even having to say a word. Okay. So that's important. Now, if you have a strong heart electromagnetic field, you might feel that energy, especially if it's going to weaker electromagnetic fields, you might feel a drop in your energy, in your electromagnetic field, because energy flows from high to low. That's how it goes, to balance it out. Everything's about balance. Everything is about balance. So, if you think about water, right? If you have a huge hurricane flowing in on land, that water is going to come in where it's a lot, and it's going to flow onto the land, and it's going to start to go in areas so that it could balance it out. You're not going to ever see water just stick in one spot. Water wants to balance out. That's how energy flows, from high to low. So if you are the person with a strong heart electromagnetic field, you might notice some pull on your electromagnetic field, because it will automatically go from high to low. So it's gonna raise up the frequency of other people in the room that's not on that same frequency. So when we talk about energy, frequency, and vibration, it is real. It is science backed. All right. And when I talk about love, love is science backed, that it's healing. It is for optimal healing. Your heart needed, your brain needed, all your cells, your organs, everything needed. And it's so important to know that your human electromagnetic field is linked to the earth. So that's why I also would mention going ground. Sometimes if you're not balanced, you're feeling a little off balance, things are not flowing, energy feels blocked, go outside, put your feet on the earth. Because what you're doing is you're getting at least synced with the earth. You're syncing your electromagnetic field with the Schumann resonance, right? Which is at 7.83 hertz, so that you could at least be in the same resonance with the earth. Okay, so that's all I have, guys. I hope it was clear. I think that this kind of bring things together as far as energy and your own health and wellness and the energy around you, and understanding how this works and why heart disease is our number one killer in this country. Think about that. Think about how there is a disrupt in the energy flow of that main organ. There's something that's not in sync, is not in harmony, is not in balance, is not in peace. And emotions is the biggest thing that affects the rhythm and the resonance and the coherence of the heart. So that's so important. I wanted to read a quote by Dr. Sebi, because, I thought it's so important for us to really understand this on a deep, deep level. If I could find it really quickly. All right, this is a quote from Dr. Sebi. All right. One ingredient that is so missing for this journey to be understood and accepted is love. But it is not the word itself. It is the electrical communication between you and the other person, or you and everybody else, are you and yourself. And that's a quote by Dr. Sebi. And it's so important. Love is energy, okay? And your body is energy, all right? Your heart is energy. Your heart is the strongest energy conductor in your body. So think about that. And if science says that emotions have a direct relation on the rhythm of your heart, working that emotional layer to heal, to balance, to transmute, and to stay in a place of peace and harmony. All right. So that's all I have, guys. This has been another episode of Matters of the Heart and Soul podcast. Once again, my name is Janie, and this podcast is inspired by love, spirituality, relationships, justice, culture, family, children, finances, freedom, health, personal growth, energy and vibrations, universal principles, masculine and feminine energy, and all things of the heart and soul. Our mission is to reconnect our hearts with our minds for perfect alignment. All right. That's what this is all about. I mean, I talk about heart and mind alignment all the time so that you could be in perfect sync. Your heart could be in perfect sync. And that musical director, which is the heart, is telling all the other organs, this is how we're going to be. And this is how it's going to go. And I promise you, health, wellness, happiness, love, all of it is yours to have. All right, guys, I'll catch you guys next time. Until then, lots of love and lots of light. Take care.